So the Arknights Enfield live stream thing happened a few days ago, and during this time, now after the live stream, I decided to rewatch the live stream several times because I wanted to give myself time to process all the big information that they showed us. Because when the live stream happened and when I watched it live, the information was coming at such a fast pace that I couldn't process all of it. So I gave myself time for all the information to simmer down and to just have a conclusion for myself. And honestly speaking, now that I gave myself a few days, brother, this game is gonna be insane. I am even more hyped up now for the beta and for the game that I was like a few days ago when I watched the live stream. So what we are gonna do today is I have a lot of things that I want to share about the live stream and all the things that they've shown, that we are gonna go over the live stream, and I'm gonna talk about the few points that just genuinely struck to me as the insane information and just really quality small details that a lot of people are not talking about. So to get things started, we have Haimao here with the hat. We have the trailer. The trailer is dope. I think I watched it like 10 times. The music goes hard and everything. But now I want to go into the main first thing that they've shown, and it is the cinematic in-game stuff. And brother, this thing looks insane. So all of this was rendered in-game. I pray for the health of these animators because now the story is gonna be even more impactful than it already was. Because one of the big things when it comes to gacha games in general and in the industry that I noticed, especially like Hoyoverse games on other games, is you get to the thing where you play the story and then you have like these characters that are stick figures that they just stand there for 5 to 10 to 15 minutes and they just talk. They just talk. The only thing they do is this. Like, brother, you are happy and you are excited if they have like 3 animations to them. But one of the big things that I praised in the past, in the last beta, Endfield, is how they work with different camera angles when stuff is happening, right? When you are playing the story, when the cinematics are happening, there are always different camera angles, always different thing happening in the background. So you are constantly getting like feedback from the game when you are playing and watching the story or just interacting with the story. So yeah, one of the big things that I liked in the last beta and they heavily improved upon. So they took the idea that I liked and they skyrocketed that thing for like 300% because they introduced even more in-game cinematics, even more like choices, because every choice now that you choose, it's gonna give you a different dialogue. So yeah, I don't know who decided this, but this is gonna be like heavily brother, I don't know how to explain it, but these things are hard to do. These things are really hard to do. But yeah, one of the big things is I praised this in the past, and now this thing got elevated for my expectations even more. Because this thing looks insane. Like, are you seeing how pretty like the graphics and just the movement and everything is? Look at how they are constantly changing the camera, right? The camera movements and everything, like it's pan in, pan out, zoom out, like you are constantly getting feedback from the game that you are playing and that you are focusing on the story. It's not just 2-3 stick figures standing for 10 to 15 minutes and doing like maybe 2 emotes and that's it. Brother, like for people that are ADHD, they are gonna be even more immersed into the storyline, and I think this is like a big thing that nobody is talking about, especially when it comes to the live stream. And there is not enough honey for me to glaze how good this thing is. So after that, let's move on. The next thing they showed is the next zone. The next zone is beautiful. I really like, one of the main things that I like about Endfield and just the zones is the aesthetic. So one main thing when I got to the last zone, this zone was not in the game, but the zone before that was the big jungle, Chinese zone. I call it the Chinese zone. But the thing that they perfected when it comes to this zone is the mix of Chinese, like influence, mixed with like retro and technological advancement, right? In the past, when I played, for example, Honkai Star Rail, ZZZ, maybe a little bit of Genshin, I've seen it, or other games, one main thing that they never managed to compensate is how beautiful a Chinese zone and aesthetically and pleasingly can look like. One of the big things for me in the last beta, and when it comes to the like 4 zone, the Chinese zone, was the music, the interactions, how every different area had a lot of like different, how do you say it, cybernetic influence, like futuristic influence with the standard traditional influence. I can't even express how like beautiful this thing looks like. Brother, look at this. Like, it feels like it's a full town, right? It feels like you are playing an MMO with how vibrant it is, how lively it all is with the NPCs, the interactions that you can do, and how your characters interact with the world as you are playing. Not only that, but you can see like the scale of it, right? Like your character goes over it and you can see the scale of just these trees, the streets, and how big everything feels. Brother, there is even a jogging trail here. Like, technological advancements with traditional Chinese, like, culture, like, you can see how beautiful this thing is. The thing is, this is even, like, 1080p on YouTube, not even 60 FPS, right? So when we play this on our own PC, this is gonna be even more, like, mesmerizing to the eye. So yeah, like, aesthetically, Endfield is one of the most pleasing games that I have or had the joy to play, especially in the last beta. Like, just look at this. Look at how big and vibrant and just lively it all feels. So that is one of the main things that... When I watch this, brother, I rewatched this part so many times. Also this part. Look at this part now. So not only that, they implemented how your characters react to their surroundings, right? Because this is instant feedback as a player. Look at this, like, Lavatain is walking, and then she sees something, like, she turns over, she sees something, and that something is probably a treasure or an item you can interact with. So not only do you go in the game and you spam M to open maps and see where the treasure is, but just by playing and walking around the map, your character interacts with, like, something that you can interact with. So as a player or as a human being that uses eyes, you play the game, you see that your character did something, you instantly get that feedback back for, oh, there is something, oh, I will like turn around and go towards that place to see if there is something hiding, or I can interact, I can maybe pick up a lore thing or a chest or a hidden thing or talk to an NPC, right? Like, these are small things that a lot of people don't notice, but this is instant player feedback. Look, Lavatain turned around, I see that my character turned around, which instantly means in my brain there is something behind me that I missed. So it's a really, really creative way and interesting way of like doing things for your characters to interact with the environment and the town and the area and everything. So, like, I really like this, because even in the beta they had every single character, when you were a party of 4, they would interact constantly with each other with different dialogues. And when there was a chest around or something that you can interact with, for example, Gilberta would be, look, see a flower, and you would see, oh, it's a flower, you can pick it up, and then you can craft that flower into a potion. Or you would see a jump pad that's not activated, and then a character behind you would say or discuss that jump pad with another character, and you would instantly, as a player, like, hear that, and you would go and explore that area. So, like, it elevates the exploration ability and how lively the characters and the whole world feels, which is like one of the main big things that I like about Endfield, especially the last beta. So yeah, after this, still, like, look at this. It genuinely looks so nice. Like, even the UI is like minimalistic, and the world around you is like futuristic with traditional Chinese. And this is only the last zone, right? These are the zones that they're gonna introduce next, that are gonna be in the next beta. So I'm really, really excited about this. Shared facilities as well. I think this is where you can like share your facilities with other players in the overworld. So this is something that is in Death Stranding, but this is also something that people didn't mention. This is something in Dark Souls, right? He even says here, you can leave messages and your other structures around. So this is like Death Stranding together with Dark Souls. Like, one of the big things when you play a Dark Souls game and you are connected online, you can see the messages, and you can see the trolling messages, or you can see like messages that actually help you out, which forms like a big thing when it comes to like the community of the game and just feels, again, the world feels lively and vibrant and like you are playing not alone. It's a single player game, but at the same time you get feedback from the game from other players. So yeah, this is something they implemented from like Dark Souls and Death Stranding. So structures and messages. Now let's go over. What else do we have? Oh yeah, new characters, brother. I have a lot of things to say about new characters. One of the main thing is, okay, she looks cool, everything. But Last Rite is a character that completely flabbergasted me because it did like a 180 in my brain when it comes to this character. So first of all, we are just gonna look at this character. Really cute design, pink, really nice color palette. She's really funny because she uses like sheeps. And these things are really cute. I'm a big fan of sheeps, especially as somebody who grew up on a farm with my grandma and grandpa. So yeah, sheeps, incredibly cute animals. Together with ducks. So I want ducks in the future, Endfield, please. But yeah, incredibly like nice color palette with the rosy pink. She's like a supporter. Just look at the animations, man. Brother, she summons sheeps. That's all you need to know. She rides sheeps. And yeah, it's a really cute character, really cool design. So whoever designed this, like, kudos to you, you know what you're doing. But Last Rite, this character. When this character came out and was shown on Twitter, everyone called it Gooner bait. But I assure your dear viewer, this tight skin bodysuit is essential to the plot. So when this character came out, I was like, it's okay, she looks like a sorceress, she looks like a support healer, right? Brother, just look at her. She looks like a support healer character. And then, the last few days when the livestream happened, all of a sudden, look at this. Bright blue color, hat, looks like a support healer to me, at least, or whatever she is. And I'm like, it's okay. All of a sudden, her name, Last Rite, cool. And then we get into the gameplay stuff. And then, in my head, I'm like, brother, what is going on? Who is creating these characters? This looks dope as hell. Because, all of a sudden, she whips out a greatsword. And if you know me, I'm in love with greatswords. I love greatswords. But a character that looked like this, Gooner bait character, support character, big ass titties on the screen, all of a sudden, she goes and whips out a goddamn greatsword. And she starts smacking the character in the live stream. And I was like, I remember in this moment, this might be one of my favorite characters. Like, look at this. Like, look at the animations, man. Like, look at this. This is insane. I love everything about this character. Like, look at the animations of the greatsword. Boom. Boom. And then she picks it up, does a front flip, and almost like falls down because she's a clumsy character. And not only that she has a great sword, she whips out her ultimate where she gets like a frost sight and she gets like a skull, ice skull on her head. Like for anyone playing Arknights, you probably know what it is, but brother, look at this. A character that I thought was, it looks aesthetically like a healer or a support, but I didn't expect this. Like I genuinely didn't expect this. Next up, we have two male characters. We have Pog and Aleš. So this guy is called Pograničnik, which means pretty much border guard, and he looks like a border guard. But let's be honest, everyone in the EN community is gonna call him Pog. And Aleš looks really cool. One of the main things when it came to the last beta is, in the last beta, we only had 3 males. And out of those 3 males, one was a panda. So we effectively had 2 male characters. But now they introduced even more male characters, 6-star, 5-star, and later on even more, right? So, and they're really cool. Like, I really like the design of these characters, man. Look at them. Simple, effective border guard. Red with black. Looks cool. Weapon is cool. Just style, man. This guy is the drip king. But one of the main things, when I rewatched this several times now, is not only does he have like a baton with a whip, and like sword, baton, whip all in one, his style of gameplay is sick, man. Look at this. brother, look at this.
才能通过消耗破防层发挥强大的能力。
Like the sound design, the visual design of every single character is insane. And this is my favorite part. Just listen and look. Brother, what is this?
消耗破防层
He summons his goon squad to like completely destroy this guy up. Like, listen to this. Like, look at this. This is so sick. Like, the goon squad is here. Boom, 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 boom. But I rewatched this way too many times. Like, I'm spazzing out. But yeah, this guy was really cool. I enjoyed him. I was like, okay, he's a raccoon, 5-star, but I hope he uses his fishing rod. And what happened in the end? He uses his fishing rod. Like, really cool design. Simple, effective. I just like the character designs of everyone in Endfield. And so far, they didn't miss. Right? Look at this. Sword. Boom, boom, boom. He's a vanguard. Attacks. He summons an ice bat out of nowhere, man. He summons an ice bat. And look at this. Look, boom. Like, the satisfying feeling you get just from landing that and using that is gonna be insane. Perfect dodge. Uses the fishing rod to fish him out and knock him back up. Ice hammer. And then he summons an ice fish with his ultimate. Like, what more do you want? And after all that, the best thing is they introduced 4-star characters. So in the past, a lot of these characters that were 4-star got upgraded to 5-star. So Snowshine was a 4-star, now she's a 5-star. So all the characters that were like 4-star in the beta are now 5-star and completely reworked. They even said that they completely reworked like multiple characters from the past. But not only that, they introduced like a full squad of 4-stars that have like identity, right? They are from the same team, special ops team. They look really minimalistic in design, but really cool. And like, I'm looking forward to this because I want to play every single one of them. Like, they look really cool, man. Like, 5 characters, 5 weapons, 4 stars, boom, boom, boom. Like, look at them. Like, it's simplistic, it's effective, it's like, it's Endfield, right? This screams Endfield with style. Not only that, like, when you look at these 4 stars, you're like, damn, we have like 4 stars, we have 5 stars, we have 6 stars in the game. But you can see how much love they put into these 4 stars and their attack patterns and how they look. Like, there is not enough honey for me how much I'm gonna glaze this. There's just like, we just need to, I need to get more honey because my glazing is over the top today. But yeah, I rewatched this multiple times on multiple occasions and everything. And I love every single thing about this. Like, these characters are really cute and really, really like good looking. But yeah, in the end, as I said, now we went from like 14 characters to 23 characters. So this is gonna be the roster for the start of the game. And this roster is huge, right? All the 4 stars from the last beta are now 5 stars. So Chen got upgraded to a 5-star, probably got reworked. Wolfguard got reworked, he's a 5-star now. Like, all these characters that were like 4 stars, Snowshine, my favorite. She was a 4-star, now she's a 5-star. She needs to be a 6-star one day as well. But yeah, not only that we have now like 5 4-star characters, more 5-star characters, but we also have a lot more 6-star characters and a lot more guys and girls. So yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with all the designs that they currently implemented. And like 23 characters is a big starting roster. Like, this is a huge starting roster, man. So I'm really excited for the next beta, but I'm even more excited for the release of the game. Now, next up, we have this thing. So guards, casters, strikers, vanguards, defenders, and supporters. So these are like character classes. One big thing that they changed is they introduced Striker. Striker was not in the last beta, and Striker looks really cool because it exploits physical or arts effects inflicted by other operators to unleash decisive attacks. So this used to be called Technician or Technical, but now it's Striker. Supporter, still the same. Skilled applied by various like control, weaken the enemy, and they can also buff and support teammates. Defenders are tanks, highly durable, a lot of HP, a lot of armor, protecting and healing teammates. Vanguards are one of my favorites. Great at restoring SP, and SP is used for skills. Striker, as I already said, casters, elemental reaction and damage, and guards are pretty much just like physical damage dealers, or not even that, like just physical damage dealers. They do a lot of damage. The elemental skill tree is still the same, so we have physical, heat, electric, cryo, and nature. It stayed the same. But the thing that they changed is they completely reworked how physical statuses work and how elemental statuses work. So lift, knockdown, crush, and breach were all in the beta, but now they got reworked to work even better because they can all be stacked up to 4 times now. Stacking up to 4 times, especially with physical now, is really good because it will give you more damage. One big thing in the beta is when you played a full physical team, you would be like, okay, I do this, and then I need to do after this, I need to do this skill so I can chain attack this thing, right? But with the ability now to stack different things and stack vulnerabilities, it offers you a lower skill floor and a higher skill ceiling. Because you will have players, like players that are going to play the game, and they're going to play like these physical things, and they're going to spam stuff. By spamming stuff, they're going to get rewarded. But by introducing like stackables and stackability inside the battle, you'll be able to like play it more, not spammy, but you will be able to play it more tactical, right? So that's what I'm saying. It lowers the skill floor, but ups this high skill ceiling, because you can be like, okay, I'm going to do this skill, I'm going to do this skill, but I'm going to wait for this skill to come off cooldown so I can stack it 3 times or maybe 4 times. And then after I stack it all the way to 4 times, I'm going to use Crush or Breach to apply all the 4 stack vulnerabilities to like big up my damage and just tactically approach the game like that, right? You can wait more and you get rewarded more. If you play it more strategically and stack up more stuff, you can do a big burst of damage more. So yeah, this is a big thing. But also, I'm really happy that physical actually has an identity now compared to the beta, because in the beta, physical had an identity, but it didn't have enough damage as the elemental reaction tree had damage. But not only that, they also reworked a lot of this. They didn't rework it. It's kind of the same, but they, as I said, they still added arts inflictions that can stack up to 4 times, which means that one big thing in the beta was like heat burst, electric burst, nature burst, and cryo burst. They didn't do a lot of damage. Like combustion is easy. All of this, when you watch it, it looks really complicated, but once you play it, it's really simple. So double fire, heat burst. So double fire does fire damage. Double electric does electric damage. Double nature does nature damage, right? It all's like just damage. But when you come to this like arts infliction, any of these elements plus fire is combustion. So when it comes to inflictions, the main thing is what is the last thing that you used. So if I use like, for example, cryo and I use heat, it's gonna combust. Combust is pretty much a small explosion and it adds a fire dot. If I use, for example, here, nature and then electric, it's electrification. If I use fire, then electric, it's electrification. It's always going to be electrification if you apply lightning or electric as the last thing. The same goes with solidification. Solidification is like freezing the enemy, and corrosion is pretty much a debuff that you apply, which lowers the enemy's defense the longer the fight goes on. So the longer corrosion is on the enemy, the more they lose their armor and you do more physical damage. So like you can use like 2 nature damage, or you can use like a nature damage, a cryo guy, or you can use the physical guys to apply like different bursts, different things. Like the possibility is endless. Even when I played beta, like every day I would play a different team, or I would try to mix and match different characters, and I only had like 13 characters, man. With 23 characters, like the possibility of like coming up with crazy stuff is gonna be endless, and I'm looking forward to that. What else? Oh yeah, perfect dodge. They introduced dodge. Dodge mechanic is something that I was advocating for when I played the beta. We had dodge mechanic in the beta, but the thing is, the dodge mechanic would not reward you as a player for doing it. So in the beta, we didn't have you had perfect dodge, but the window was really small, and you wouldn't get anything out of it. Like, you would perfect dodge the enemy, but you would not get SP back, you would not get any animation back or any satisfaction back. But the main thing was, a lot of these bosses later on have like strings. They have like multiple attacks. Like, I'm gonna do this attack, this attack, this attack, then a big AoE into this, and then I'm gonna summon like AoE all around. So the way you would approach in the beta a lot of these fights was, you were fighting, but when the boss started doing big things and you didn't have stuff to interrupt them, you wouldn't dodge. You would just go away from the fight and wait for the boss or the elite to resolve his attack pattern. And for me, that was really bad, right? Because you never want to be like, okay, I'm playing and fighting in the game, and then, oh, the enemy is doing a big attack, I'm just gonna go away and wait for him to finish that big attack, and once he's finished, I'm gonna go in and do that same thing again, right? With perfect dodge, the game rewards you for perfect dodging and the loop. Not only that, as you can see, he attacks like 1-2, like he attacks 1-2, does a perfect dodge, and now he can continue doing his auto-attack pattern, like manual combat auto-attack, right? Bam! And then he continues his thing. So one of the big things which I really disliked, and I spoke with a few players about this, is you would start your attack pattern like bam, 1, 2, 3, and then the enemy would hit you, and then if you did the perfect dodge, like, you would get cancelled, right? Like, you would do 1, 2, 3, you would dodge, and then because of that, you need to start your whole chain attack of auto attacks again, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and just about as you are gonna hit your big 5 attack, which is like a big attack, let's say, for example, the boss just slaps you. And that's it. Like, you either take the damage and you're gonna get slapped and turn back, or if you dodge, you also get punished by dodging because you can't finish your attack. So you would constantly get, in the end game, you would get into the loop of 1, 2, 3, I need to go away because the boss is doing something. You would never be able to finish your attacks because you would always get, whatever you do, you would always get punished. And it's like, it's punishment not intended. Like, you would get progressively as you played the game in the beta, you would get frustrated because in the end you would not even do out attacks. You would just be like electric burst, and you would just like explode the boss instead of using the out attacks and like getting the satisfaction from the combat. But now, like, they introduced perfect dodge, but it's not only that. They introduced the perfect dodge in a way that still enables them to make really interesting bosses, because you can't perfect dodge constantly. You can't dodge constantly, right? You don't have infinite dodges. You have 2 dodges. So if the boss has like a 5 attack pattern, brother, you're not gonna dodge all 5 attack patterns because you have 2 dodges. So you still need tanks. You still need things like defenders and Snowshine that has shield and countering, right? So you would rather, like, if the boss is doing like a triple attack pattern, you would be like dodge, dodge, and then you would use Snowshine to deflect his last attack into counter, so you would like fill up the stagger. So just by introducing dodge, you give the ability for high skill level players to express themselves and dodge, and you also get the satisfaction back as a player. Like, you get the satisfaction back of using the dodge and like playing the actual combat strategically and like action based. So you're not getting punished by not having dodge. But now, like, you can be like, okay, so if the boss has like 5, like, you're constantly involved in combat with dodge and everything. Instead, way back, you would just run away from the combat, and you would not even want to perfect dodge, because even when you perfect dodge, you would just get punished because you didn't get anything out of it. Now you get, as a player, you get rewarded with a cool ass animation, and also by continuing your auto attacks, right? So like, perfect dodge is something that doesn't break the flow of combat. It just adds more to the combat and visually pleasing combat, and just as a player, you will get more satisfaction out of it. Like just looking at this, I get more satisfaction out of it than sometimes looking at the combat that was in the beta like 10 months ago. So not only this, they added staggering nodes. So staggering nodes are like checkpoints for stagger. You can stagger him to max, but the thing is you get more satisfaction now because you get to the checkpoint, and then when you get to the checkpoint of the stagger, he gets slightly staggered, like he gets slightly stunned for like example 1 second. And when he is slightly stunned in that 1 second, you can use the opportunity to be like, okay, I have enough time in that 1.5 seconds to do like combo, chain attack combo with my other like full team, and then I can continue like comboing him and doing stuff, right? But yeah, like this is not a big stagger, but as you can see, it is a small stagger. But sometimes this also gives you really good feedback when it comes to combat because, for example, let's say this guy is charging up a really big attack, right? He's charging up a really big attack. You see that your stagger is like 1 point away from like middle of stagger. So now you have in real time, you have a decision to make. You can either wait for him to use that big attack and you can perfect dodge, or you can go full in like psycho mode and you can be like, okay, my attack or my skill is when I press it is gonna land faster than he's gonna do his attack. And in the middle of that attack, you reach the threshold point and then he gets stunned a little bit and he doesn't do the big attack that can kill you. Because this guy, for example, in game mode, he has a grab. The grab insta kills you. If he grabs your character and you don't interrupt him, he's gonna body slam their face into the like ground and insta kill them. It's not even, sometimes it's insta kill, sometimes it's like 90% of their HP. But yeah, so now you have even more like decisions to make and like how you approach the combat with the staggering little things and stagger checkpoints. But so this is really, really cool stuff that they added that just enhances the combat even more. Like I'm freaking out because I love this stuff. Like these are like small things that add so much to the presentation of combat and how you approach the combat and how like you get the feedback constantly like back as a player and you see stuff happening, right? But not only that, they added body part targeting to certain monsters. So this is something that Monster Hunter has, right? So this guy goes in, boom, big AoE. So you can probably even jump through that AoE or you can perfect dodge it. You attack it, you get deflected. You do no damage because it's a big ass shield and you're just getting knocked back. So what you do, you go behind him, you attack his weak point, you destroy that weak point, he's stunned, you go all out. Your whole goon squad of characters just go bam, 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 bam. Right? But not only that, like adding certain breakpoints for monsters just gives the developer more stuff to add, like crazier stuff. With this thing, they can add crazier stuff. And because they are adding like monster break and monster checkpoints and different targets. They can even do raid bosses later on, or bosses that require more strategical approach than just button mashing. Right? You can go in front of this guy. You can't button mash. Like, okay, I just need to go around him. But later on, they can add crazier and crazier stuff. So this is like really exciting for us because we get a really wide variety of different monsters. But it's also really good for the developer because they put themselves in a position where they can be creative with the monsters and the bosses and the elites that they create in the future. So this is really good. This is like really good. Because one of the main things that I didn't like in the beta is we didn't have a lot of variety when it comes to monsters. We had a lot of humanoids. Like it was 80% humanoids, and 20% to 30% of monsters, but the monsters were always the rock things, like that they were called agoloi. So you didn't have a lot of variety. But like just looking from the live stream, we have like dinosaurs, bears, flying raptors. We have these guys that are like completely different, where you approach the combat differently. Like it's small stuff like this, but this is like really good and like beneficial for us as players and beneficial for them as developers, because they put themselves in a really good position, and for us, it's even more exciting, right? One big thing as well, they completely changed and revamped a lot of the characters and how they function. So Lavatain completely reworked. Lavatain is not even a sorceress right now. She's a striker. So she has a completely different class and how she plays the game. Not only that, but they said that they even completely reworked like almost all of the roster. So Snowshine, that was a 4-star, is a 5-star. She probably plays completely differently now. Like all these characters are completely gonna be different this time. Like they're gonna be completely like finalized, right? And that is really cool because me, somebody that played like a lot of beta, not only will I get like the 9 new characters, I will get 23 new characters because they all play differently and they all have different special things that they accelerate at. But one big thing I also want to mention here is they talked about how they gave Lavatain a different look and how they improved her visually. So if you look at this thing right here, you can see that the sword has better fire effects and it's minimalistic. This thing, a lot of stuff is happening on the screen, right? When I played Lavatain in the beta, when you popped the ultimate, sometimes you wouldn't even see what is going on the field from all the effects that she was dishing out, plus your other 3 characters. When I was watching this livestream like multiple times this weekend, I noticed how they minimized the big effect of this thing. Like this thing looks cool, but one big thing when it comes to combat and games, especially when you have 4 characters on the map, and this is something a lot of gacha games are really bad at, is visual clarity of the game. Brother, when I sometimes watch or play these games, I don't even know where my mouse is or what my character is doing. It's like just big explosions all around. Like, what is even going? Like, what is going on? But I've seen that because you have 4 characters on your map, they improved the visual stuff of the flame and everything, but they also toned down everything so it looks more compact and there is more visual clarity on the field in the combat, and what you can actually see what you're doing, right? As I said, this looks cool, but trust me, man, after you play like 200 hours, looking at this, you'll be like, brother, I want this flame to disappear. This is way too much. Like, this is visually, this is exhausting. I don't know what's going on. This is way better. And every single character got like probably a visual upgrade. So this is like, when it comes to visual clarity and presentation of the game, this is really, really important and really good. It's good for us as players. It's good for people that watch YouTube videos or watch streamers or watch the gameplay of the character. So it's like a win-win situation. And nobody's talking about this. I don't know, like for me, this is like a huge change. So now we have here where they talk about combat and all that stuff. You can watch it for your own. It looks cool. It really looks cool. Like they just are showcasing how physical statuses work. But yeah, even like you can see, we can watch all of this and you can see how the visuals are not that exhausting to watch. Like you can see everything that every single character is doing without a lot of visual, like the effects are still there. They are impactful. There is like hit lag even now. That's one big thing that I noticed when it comes to like combat. They added a lot of visual clarity, but they also added like hit lag. They added weight of the weapon. Like in the last beta, you had some hit lag and some like weight of the weapon, but it's even more now. For example, when Dapan jumps down with his ass, like you can feel the weight of his ass like trembling a little bit, or when the screen shakes and stuff like that, right? Like that's like simple little things that the more you play the game, the more you notice them. But when you look at this, it's gonna be like confusing, but the more you watch it, the more you're gonna realize, damn, the visual clarity of this is really cool. Like, I understand everything that's going on. Like, for me, I understand everything that's going on because I put way too many hours into this game. But yeah, like, look at this. The hit lag when he's just, like, do you feel the hit lag? Like, the hit lag is like, bam, right? You can feel the weight of his pan smacking that monster to the ground. Like, look at this. Boom. They even added the effect. But yeah, like visual clarity, as I said, really important in every single game. And a lot of gacha games, especially a lot of modern gacha games, don't do visual clarity really well because they add way too many effects, and on top of that, they add way too many numbers, man. When you have way too many numbers and way too many effects, you don't even know what's going on the field. Like, you can barely see. Maybe I'm too old, but it's way too much sometimes in some of these games. And Endfield like found the perfect balance of visual clarity, hit lag, effects, and satisfaction of the combat, like the loop back to you as a player. So yeah, I told you, man, like I'm gonna glaze this. I'm gonna glaze this so much. So we have like elemental reactions here where they added like double cryo, double nature, double cryo, double nature. Pretty fun stuff. You can even add a physical thing. One big thing in beta that I did is when you solidify these characters, you can use knockback or lift up as a physical status to apply shatter. So when the enemy is like frozen, you can be like lift them up or smack them down to shatter their like frozen bodies to do like insane damage. They never had a tutorial for that, but I found that on my own and I would always use it. So I still don't know if they still have that in the game where you can freeze or do stuff and then you add like a physical element, a physical reaction to that thing that's happening. Now let's move on to the next big thing, and it is Factory. Factory is like 30 to 40% of Enfield's gameplay. Factory is really well designed. I spent, I think, out of 200 hours, I spent like 50 to 60 hours in Factory. I would sometimes catch myself being really bored, or I would just watch or do a podcast on the side, like watch a podcast on my second monitor, and I would just do Factory. Like, I used Factory in this game as a way to relax and to just maximize everything, but honestly, this is coming from somebody that played Factorio. But one of the big reasons I started playing Factorio was because of Endfield. Before Endfield, especially Alpha Test way back like a year and a half, 2 years, I never played like that much. I never played Factorio or Satisfactory. After Enfield's technical test way back, and the Factory back then was ass. Compared to the last beta, the Factory was ass. But I got introduced for Factory stuff with Endfield. And honestly speaking, even after this beta, I installed Factorio. I put like 150 hours into that game, man. It's really fun. Like the Factory, once you give it a try, if you give it a chance, you're gonna get mesmerized by how fun it actually is to build stuff, to produce stuff and everything. So Factory for me is really satisfying, and hopefully a lot of other people will try it or give it a try and maybe like get engrossed into it. But the main thing that we are talking here is they introduced one big thing that I like, that I really wanted in the last beta, and it is blueprints, right? Blueprints give you the ability to copy, paste the stuff that you already made, or even copy, paste from other players online. Blueprints are one of the most essential things when it comes to Factorio or Satisfactory. Why? Because I found myself in the last beta, you would make a base, it would work for my maybe 20 to 30 hours, you would get all the materials that you need for crafting gear and something like that, and then I would delete all of the factory, and then I would start building a new factory. Now, I was always like, it would be really cool if we had blueprints, so I can save and like save my profile that I already have for maybe future. So maybe if I want to go back into that like producing of that material, I can just delete my base, copy paste my last factory, produce it again, then I can delete that base, copy and paste the new base that I made for the resources, and on and on. But the thing that was really bad in the last beta was you would make one conveyor belt, then you would make like all the production, and then you would sit there and be like, damn man, I need to do this like 5 more times. Like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? I really need to like do this all the time, and it's really bad. It feels bad. It feels like time consuming because I already did my main factory like lineup. So now I just want to copy and paste it, and that's it, right? So like, look at this. It would be something like this. I did my lineup. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew. Conveyor belt here, and that's it. And then I had to repeat this same thing, like build it one by one tile 5 times or 6 times. And it felt bad, man. Now I can do this, copy and paste it, copy and paste it, copy and paste it, and I'm done. Because I already did my main like facility factory with my conveyor belts. And now I can just copy and paste it and be done. So instead of using like 45 minutes to build all of this, I can just use 10 minutes to build this and then copy and paste it. It's really good, right? Brother, it feels amazing to have blueprints. But not only that, for example, as I already said, what if I have a base that produces everything, but I need a different base? So now I need to delete all my base, make a new base, and once I made the new base for the new materials, man, 4 days have passed. I have all the materials that I need. How I wish I had the old base that I put like 10 hours into. So what do I need to do? I had screenshots saved in my folders so I can look at the screenshots and copy paste the same exact build like line by line. I'm like, oh my God, man, I need to do like 4 hours of this just to get back because I don't have blueprints. I don't have the way to save and paste this thing. Now, all of this stuff is good because this thing exists in Factorio. So not only can I copy and paste my own stuff, save my own stuff, I can also share it with my friends. I can share it with people online, and those people can also like copy and paste this thing. Here is the big thing that a lot of people say is blueprints are a problem. And it's pretty much a knee-jerk reaction to blueprints. But blueprints are like a saving grace. It's good for the players that play a lot of factory, and it's good for players that don't want to interact a little bit with the factory. Because if I share my stuff online and somebody copies it, they are still interacting with the blueprints, and they are still interacting with the factory. Because for you to open blueprints, you need to do the tutorial. It's not only that. When you have blueprints, as a new player, you can copy and paste that blueprint in, right? You can copy and paste that blueprint in, and then you're already having the feedback of, oh, so that is how this thing works, right? Because when I started playing like Arknights, Endfield, and the factory, I was overwhelmed, man. A lot of the times I was really overwhelmed. I was like, brother, I need to open on my other screen like this whole ass skill tree, and I need to look at it on how it is. And brother, trust me, it was a failure constantly, like a failure. Okay, I would fail. Okay, we go back. I need to do this again. Okay, this is not how this works, right? Because a lot of these factories look the same-ish. Like I can see that they improved the visual aspect of it, but as a new player, you would get like overwhelmed with that stuff. Now you do the tutorial, the game teaches you how to do it, you have the blueprint, you copy and paste that thing, and then you see, oh, so this thing goes into here, this thing goes into here, this thing goes into here. I understand how it works. And not only that, because you're already producing stuff. But at the end of the day, a lot of people online, like with the knee-jerk reaction is, I don't want blueprints because somebody is just gonna copy and paste this base and they're not gonna interact with the factory. So what? Who gives a fuck about that? Brother, like if they're gonna interact it with not, you know how they are gonna react to it. They're gonna get to the base system, they're not gonna like the base system, they're gonna go on YouTube, and then they will need to spend like 2 hours watching a YouTube guy video, like pausing constantly and seeing how he is building stuff and just copy and pasting it like that. Brother, it's easier to just go online, pick the blueprint and implement the blueprint. And that's it. He's still interacting with the game, because it's like saying, oh, you can't play a card game because you don't know how to craft decks. Brother, have you ever heard about net decking? Net decking is pretty much 99% of like people who play card games. The 1% people are the ones that make the decks. The other percent is like people who look at the decks online, they choose the deck they want to play, they're like, okay, this is a really cool deck, I want to play it. They are interacting with the game. Like it's saying, I told you, it's like saying, you can play a card game, you can play One Piece, you can play Yu-Gi-Oh, you can play Magic because you don't know how to build decks. But as a starting player, as a new player, I'm gonna net deck, I'm gonna copy a deck, I'm gonna play the deck, I'm gonna understand how the game works, And then slowly, I'm gonna interact more and more and more in building that deck or refining that deck or mixing that deck because I'm understanding the game. I am constantly understanding the flow of how things are, how things like maneuver, how things progress, right? You can have this big factory without blueprints, and somebody that doesn't understand is gonna get overwhelmed. Brother, he's not gonna continue the game. He's just gonna either quit the game or he's gonna go onto YouTube and be frustrated that he needs to spend like 45 minutes or 3 hours copy pasting somebody's build from YouTube. So like blueprints are pretty much a win-win-win situation for everyone. For the starting player, for the middle player, for the player that wants to constantly like just do factory. Like it's a win-win situation for everyone. Anyone who says this has a negative effect, brother, you're mentally unstable. You're mentally, like, you just don't see the bigger picture. You never played Factorio and Satisfactory. You never even interacted with these games. You don't even know what you're talking about. This is my message to everyone who's like doom posting blueprints. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make like a full new video just about blueprints. Because I can talk all day about how blueprints are beneficial and positive for this game and for everyone in general as a player. So I'm gonna go over this blueprint stuff and I'm gonna go into these conveyor belts because, oh my god, look at this. You know what? Nah, he can do better. He can do this into splitter and then he can split this thing into go here, here, and then he can push this thing a little bit forward and then he can put this electric fence a little bit here. Brother, you can always min-max it. That's the thing. Like you can copy and paste this base. You're going to see it and you're going to be like, yeah, but what if I add this thing to this base and this thing to this base, right? This is how you redefine stuff. This is how you make the player who's not into factory stuff start, brother, you give them a little bit of the drug, oh my god, and then they get hooked on it. That's how you do it. This is what blueprints are all about. Like you copy and paste and then you start looking at it, and there are a lot of players who are going to be, copy paste, okay, I can go play my main game. Good for them. Or you're going to have also like a percentage of players that are going to copy paste this, and then you can look at this and you're going to be like, yeah, but why didn't he do this? Or why didn't he do this? Or, oh, I can add a little bit of my own personal design to this base and make it look even better or flow even better or be even more visually pleasing. Like there is always min-max. Like every like factory or all this stuff is always min-max. Like you can always push and go further beyond. That is why I like blueprints. Like blueprints are so good to have. And I will never stop like going against blueprints. Next up, blah, blah, blah. Okay. One big thing that I was so excited when I saw it was this thing. The reception room. Buddy, you can show your achievements, your medals, all the stuff that you did in the game as a showroom. You can put all your characters on the wall. But one of the big main things is, man, you can put your weapons for display. Not only that, like it's like a weapon showcase room of all your achievements inside the main base, inside of the Dijon. And not only that, they even implemented like friend system. So you can visit other people's rooms and see it. So I can see in the future, they can implement way more stuff for us to redesign and add to the room. But not only that, because we can already teleport to our friend's base. That means co-op in the future, man. I think this is just like a feature that they're gonna improve upon, and maybe one day, hopefully we can get some co-op stuff, because co-op is, let's be honest, co-op is the life and butter and bread of like these games. Because once you have co-op, you have a bigger community feel when it comes to, like, I'm not alone. It's a single player game, but I can always play with friends, with loved ones, or with anyone else outside, just like a big community. And one last thing is the gacha system. I'm not gonna go over the gacha system in this video, because the gacha system on its own needs a dedicated video, so I can explain it why it's good, why the gacha system is good, and why the weapon gacha is good. Yeah, I had a lot of experience with this gacha in the beta, and they even further improved the gacha system, so I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to the weapon system and the character system. It's all I'm gonna say is it's way better than any of the Hoyoverse stuff. And yeah, I will explain it in another video and I will showcase it why this is pretty much the superior gacha system currently on the market and how you can get a lot of rewards from it. Because if I start explaining and yapping how good this gacha system is, it's gonna be another 25 minutes. So for now, we are just gonna end it at here. Hopefully, I didn't yap too much today because I wanted to dedicate this video more to the gameplay side of Endfield, because the gameplay is pretty much why we play the game, man. The game, the graphics, the voice acting, the cinematics, the story, and all of that. Combat, man. The gacha thing is just gonna be a video on its own. For anyone that stuck through this video, thank you all for watching. And as always, see you guys next time. And it's gonna be really soon. Cheers. Oh yeah, subscribe, like, and comment.